Okay, right. So today's cook along, or today's cookery, will be about some healthy snacks, alternative snacks, something that's a bit different. The two recipes that we're going to make, both are gluten-free, which is great for those who are celiac or gluten intolerant. They're also quite good if you are diabetic and follow a low-carb diet. The crackers especially, I work with a lot of diabetics and they say that they miss the crunch in food. So this will absolutely nail it in terms of sitting there and feeling part of it, but not being able to have the other crackers. So these are really, really useful. Very simple ingredients. Again, I like to use really simple ingredients that you can get hold of easily. It's not got to be too fussy, otherwise it's just no one's going to do it. So we're going to make our crackers first because we've got to pop them in the oven. And then whilst they're in the oven, we'll do our guacamole dip. Okay, so very quickly, I'm just going to tilt my camera down. I've got 100 in my little bowl here. I've got 100 grams of almond flour or ground almonds. Now, the difference between almond flour and ground almonds is absolutely nothing. The price point, however, massively different. So don't be alarmed. Ground almonds is the same as almond flour. It's just ground up a little bit more. If you need it really, really uber fine, stick it in your NutriBullet or your blender and chop it up a bit. But it's not worth it for the expense of almond flour. Now, I would use ground almonds in my cakes, in my gluten-free cakes and things as it is. So it doesn't have to be really fine. But there's an option for you there. Right, so I've got 100 grams. I'm just going to tilt my camera down so you can see in here. We're going to really simply add 1 egg. I'm going to pop that in there. All the white, all the yolk, straight in there. Just wipe my hands there. I've got a fork to give it a little stir around. I've got some chia seeds here, chia seeds, however you like to say. They are really, really good when they get wet at sticking things together. So they're really good not in gluten-free recipes because they actually act like the glue or the elastic that wheat and gluten would give us. So we just want 15 grams of chia seeds, not many, or not much. So I'm just going to pop that in there like that. Now at this point, you can add in whatever else you like. I would always add in a really good sea salt. So I really love this brand. It's a Cornish sea salt, it's sea salt flakes. This one is actually a smoked one. Tastes amazing, but also they do lots of like lemon and pepper, lemon and herb, mixed peppercorns. I think they do a rosemary one. So go and have a little look. I think you can get them in most supermarkets. So that is good to put in there. And I've got some black pepper. Little grind of black pepper in there. Okay. And then I'm just going to get rid of my scales and we are going to just stir it into what is like a thick sort of a dough, like a paste really. You can add in poppy seeds, you can add in chili flakes, cumin seeds, fresh herbs, basically whatever you've got to really zing up these crackers. They don't need a lot of zinging, they're very nice. So you've got a dough here, okay? So 2 sheets of baking parchment, 1, 2. On the first sheet, we're going to plop our dough. Don't even be tempted to roll that as it is, otherwise you will end up with a sticky rolling pin mess. So don't even think, oh, I could roll that. Nope, it won't roll. Okay, so we've got all our dough out. And then we're just going to get it into a little ball. Just give it a little pat round. Now these crackers are great because they're really rustic, so it doesn't matter that they're not perfectly round or square or whatever you want to do with them. It doesn't matter. Next one goes over the top. So we formed like a little sandwich there. And then we're going to take our rolling pin and we're going to roll it. And when you think you've gone, it's thin enough, go thinner. Okay, they need to be really thin. You should get about 20 to 30, depending on how thick you've made them from each sort of batch. These are a firm favourite at our low carb classes. People make them even if they're not low carb, just because they're really yummy to snack on. Bit different if you run out of crackers as well. Okay. Then we're going to carefully peel off one of the corners. Don't peel it up, peel it right back on itself. Nice and slowly, so that everything sticks to the baking paper. That's my oven just come up to temperature. When you cook them, you want to cook them at about 155. The almonds, the oil in the almonds will actually get very, very hot, and they do cook very quickly. So now we need a nice long knife, and these are our crackers. We're literally going to score them with the knife. Again, you can make them as big or as little as you like. They're all stuck to the paper, but don't worry. And we're going to go the other way. Oops.
You get lots of crackers out of that mix, don't you?
You do, absolutely. Which is one of the benefits of it. And all these will be all like sort of not perfect, and you know they actually make really, really nice little Christmas presents in a nice little bag if you've got somebody who's gluten-free. Obviously check if they've got nut allergy, but you know, and then you get your fork and then you literally just puncture each one, a few little stabs in each one, and what that does is it stops them curling up, because we don't want curly crackers, we want flat ones to go in our guacamole, or guacamole, however you like to say it. Okay, that's done. How quick was that? Now, if you like cheese on your crackers, now's the time you pop your cheese on, and it would melt and it would be beautiful and lovely. I'm just going to add a little bit more of my lovely sea salt. I think I might actually be a little bit addicted to this. It's so nice. And then you literally take your baking tray. I prefer to use a pizza tray, only because it's got the holes in and therefore allows the heat up underneath. It's not mandatory to do that, so it's just my preference. So slide it onto a baking tray. Don't worry if they just pop over the edge. It'll be absolutely fine. And I'm going to pop those into the oven for about between 5 and 7 minutes, depending on your oven. And then what we're going to do, they will curl slightly, and then we will take our knife and I'll show you that bit in a minute, and then we'll turn them over just to finish off and make sure they're all nice and crunchy. But they are, you'll love those. I'll just pop those in the oven. Okay, great with any kind of dip. They go really nice with obviously kind of, you know, your kind of Mexican food if you wanted that instead of nachos or something a bit different. So give them a go, they'll be great. So now we're going to go on to our guacamole dip. So I've got my chopping board. I've got lemon or lime, doesn't matter, something really citrusy to cut through. I've got my avocado, chilies, jalapenos. I've got little cherry tomatoes to use up as opposed to sort of larger salad tomatoes, but either's fine. If they're going slightly over, they're almost better. So when it's not quite fit for the compost heap, but it's a little bit on the turn for a sandwich or a salad, they're great to put into a dip, so you're not wasting it. Red onion and coriander or cilantro, whichever you prefer to call it, or it might be known as. I've got a nice dip bowl as well. So the first thing is we are going to chop some of our tomatoes. Now, I've got one avocado here. So again, very simple ingredients, really, really good for you. Great if you've got friends around. You don't need to go and buy all those highly processed dips. Little bits like that. These are little cherry tomatoes, so you only want them quite small. We're just going to add a few of those in. Now, I don't know, a little bit of a fact about avocados. I don't know if you know, but they are actually the UK's highest CO2 footprint fruit that we import. And that's because obviously they come from a long way away. And also you can only pick obviously one fruit. It's not like a bunch of grapes where you could pull a few off and get rid of those. You know, you've got one fruit, and if it gets damaged, that's it. And they also, I don't know if anyone is very used to using avocados in their diet. I always find they've got about an 8-second window of them being ripe. And once it's gone, it's gone. So they're really hard to know when they're ripe or not. The ones that you buy and ripen at home, you can put in the fridge to make them last a bit longer, and then get them out a couple of days before you might, or leave one out, use that, then take the other one out the fridge, and they will prolong their shelf life. They are, if they are ripe, they're very slightly soft to give a gentle push to. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Now, if you cut your avocado, it will go brown. So you can give it a little wipe with some citrus, and that will stop that happening, or just make it as you you know, need it, eat it. Okay, right, down we go. So to prepare our avocado, this is the stalk. We're going to go at the top here, hit the stone in the middle, and just guide your knife all the way around. Hopefully, roughly to where you got to in the first place. Just going to pull the seed out of the middle. Now, I always like avocado. My avocado or my guacamole dip is, I always like a bit mushy and a bit chunky. So what I would suggest is, if you've got a nice ripe avocado like that, keep half that we're going to chunk, and this one we're literally just going to squeeze in our hand. Just, oh, that is so therapeutic. Just squeeze it all out, and that is kind of squeezed and mushed. You've got most of it out there. Don't want to waste any. There's really, really good fats in avocado. And then we've got, so they're very good for you actually. And then this one we're going to chunk. So we've got a bit of like paste and a little bit of chunky avocado in there too. So I've just cut it into little sections, and then I'm just going to put those on my board for a moment while I mix all of that in, and then I'll stir these ones in at the end. Okay, and you just kind of pop them out, hopefully not making too much mess. Okay, I'll just use my knife in there. So guacamole is actually derived from the word guacamole actually means avocado sauce. So that's where its name comes from. That's a bit pasty in there, so I'll put that in there. So I'm just going to leave that on the edge of my board for a moment. And then with my clean fork. Just going to give it a stir, mush it in with my lovely fresh tomatoes there. Okay. You can make as much or as little as you need. If you need a little bit more avocado, you can add some. If you need a little bit more tomatoes, whatever works for you. Onion now, red onion. We're not going to use the whole of this onion, otherwise we're going to overpower our dip. A little tip for cutting your onion, obviously the top and the root, you want to go straight down the middle. We're going to put that nice and safely flat on the board. I'm going to nip the top off, just the top. Actually, the outer skin just kind of peeled away there, but you would peel away the skin and hold it towards the root. You'd use the point of the knife towards the root, cut down, try not to cut all the way through. So your these slices don't need to be very thin. It's not Michelin star chopping, it's rustic, that's what we like to call it. So we've got a little fan there, all held together at the root. Put that down again so it's nice and safe. And be careful when you cut this way. So we're going to cut towards the root, mind your fingers. So you've got a fan cut in half. And then we're just going, we want really tiny bits of red onion because we don't want it to be too overpowering, and you get lovely fine onion there. You hardly waste any of your onion, so that's good. We're just going to sprinkle the red onion in. Now we love jalapenos in ours, so I'm going to add some jalapenos. I'm just going to get a non-avocado fork. I'm going to add a few of those in. You can use the same with fresh chilies as well. Just going to give those a little chop up. So if you don't have fresh chilies, you can use dried. That's no problem. And if you don't like chili, you can leave it out. It's no problem at all. Just going to cut our lemon in half. I'm going to add black pepper. Back to our lovely sea salt. And get that in there. Nice big pinch of salt. Give that a stir. Oh, I can smell that already. It smells amazing.
So you're making me very hungry, Natasha.
Yeah. So this is really good, literally, for these crackers in front of the telly with this dip. It's really good for you. Much better than what you can ever buy in a packet. You know, if you're making wraps or you're having Mexican, it's quite easy to do. We're going to squeeze a bit of lemon in, a little bit, and then we're going to reserve a little bit for the top. Just checking that that wasn't a little pip. No. And then I'm going to add in my chunks of avocado because we want a bit of texture in there. We don't want it like baby food. You know, you want it a bit of texture. And then I've got my coriander here. Nice fresh coriander. Great if you grow it in the garden. Just literally knot it all up and just give it a stalks and all. Just give it a little slice. Now I'm going to gently stir these in so we've still got some texture in there. And then I'm going to add our coriander and finish off with a little squeeze of lemon. Okay. So that is our dip. I'm just going to clean round the bowl so that it looks nice. And I can smell the crackers. You can smell when they cook, when they start to cook. They do cook very quickly. So you need to keep an eye on them if you're not used to cooking them. And they will, you know, they'll let you know when they're ready because you can smell them. I'm just going to go and get them out and check them. Right, so as you can see, obviously this is hot. I'm just going to move that a moment. As you can see, around the edge here is brown, like it's cooked, and inside looks like it needs a little bit longer, which is why I'm going to turn them over. So they do get really, really hot. The almond oil gets really hot, but they also cool down quite quickly. So I've got a little palette knife here. I'm just running it underneath, and as you can see, they're just breaking. Some of the kind of outside ones might be done on the other side. As you can see, that one's brown all over. That one's still got a little bit of white on it. I'm just going to take these. I'm just going to take these crackers and pop them onto the side. The ones that are done. And the ones that aren't quite done, we're just going to turn over. They literally just go like that. And where we've scored them, they should just break. So we're just going to turn them over and do them on the other side. They're actually cooled down a little bit to handle now. And again, it doesn't matter if they break. That one looks like it's done nicely on the edge. I'll turn those over. They're okay. Again, they literally need a minute or two on the other side. Okay. Just pop those back in. Right, I've got another matching little bowl, so we can put our little crackers in there. So they look really nice. Obviously, these are the end bits, but they're still equally yummy. It's a really nice alternative for those who can't have wheat crackers or choose not to have wheat crackers. So it'll just be a moment or two, and we're nearly there. Has anyone got any questions? Have you got any questions, Kim? Oh, I can't hear you, my love. I think you might be mute. Oh, there you go.
How long do they keep for?
Oh, the crackers, if you keep them in an airtight container, Tupperware container, a week.
Right, okay. That's good.
They won't last 24 hours.
Right.
You'll love them. If you try them, you'll absolutely love them.
And what about the dip?
The dip, what you will find with the dip, I would say a day or two. What you'll find with the dip is it will start to discolour because of the avocados.
Right.
So with fresh avocado, you're better off cooking it to order, if you know what I mean.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe, you know, the following day, but it will start to.
And can that be frozen?
What, the dip?
Yeah.
Good question. I haven't actually tried. I would think, like freezing bananas, it would go a bit mushy, or it would discolour.
Okay.
You might not get the same
textures
or colour.
Okay.
On the other side, but no, it's a really lovely one, especially if you've got a party coming up or just something a bit different. It's quite quick to chuck together. So have you got anyone else got any questions?
I was just going to ask, so sometimes when you like sort of go out and have guacamole in places, sometimes it's chunky, sometimes it's smooth. So say you were a smooth guacamole person, would you be able to blend that, or?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. You can use the textures to your own household taste. Absolutely, I like them a little bit of both. But yeah, if you want to put it in the blender, absolutely, it will become just, you know, very, very sort of liquidy, but absolutely, yeah.
Great.
So I'm just waiting for those crackers, seeing if they're ready. I'll just check them. They don't take long at all. Right, yeah, they are perfect. So let me just tilt that down slightly. You can see they're a nice golden colour. You can do them a little bit more if you like them a little bit, you know, sort of more toasted. It's quite nice. That will be my snack later. It feels like a Friday, even though it's not. A friend of mine who is gluten-free absolutely loves these crackers. She's just loves them. So it's a good one. Most of us know somebody who struggles with gluten, so it's always a nice one to have for them. So there we go. So that is our guacamole and our lovely low-carb crackers.